Conversations on NTA Network, where we talk about issues that affect you and me. My name is Nike, and I have my people in the house.
Okay, I'm one of the people. My name is Rita Ehujibu. Welcome.
And my name is Chukuma Ohaka. Thank you.
All right. Welcome, people. Welcome to the Conversations Room. Today we're talking about relationships, how to build them and how to make them last. Because over the period of time, isolation, relationships have gone through different definitions. You know, all of a sudden, the husband that goes out every single day is home and locked down with you for a long period of time. And you're wondering, okay, we don't have anything to talk about other than the kids, and there's what will you eat? There's nothing else to really talk about. So there's some people that actually go through stages of relationships where they feel like, I'm not connecting with you anymore. I just don't feel, I'm not feeling you. You know what I mean, Chuko? I'm not feeling you. So as people in successful relationships, me, you, and you, we're going to just talk about the different things that we do or what we hear or what other people do to keep that relationship, to keep that sizzle in the relationship.
Interesting.
Let's start with you. You've been married longer than me. You know this.
No, Chukwu has been married longer than I have, but it's fine, no problems. I think there's no one cut fits all when it comes to relationship. It's about knowing who you're with. I always say, know the person, know you are compatible, know you can tolerate their excesses before you actually decide to commit in a relationship. Because for me, as far as my relationship is concerned, happiness is the most important thing for me. So that actually determined what I looked out for. Will this person make me happy? If I was locked with him in the room, even in the toilet for a month, will I go bonkers or can I tolerate it? And when I could tick those boxes and say yes, I knew yes, he was the right person. I think what we have seen over this whole period of the lockdown and escalation of domestic violence and everything is, it's only just exposed the incompatibility that people had but ran away from using work and other things as excuses. The truth is, you should, if you want to be with someone, you should be able to be with that person 24/7 and be fine. I know it's almost like impossible, some people will say, but it's very possible. But the mistakes have happened before now. You didn't start, COVID didn't bring it. COVID only just made it glaring that there are differences. In some part of the world, you will be hearing a lot of irreconcilable differences leading to divorce. But for me, I think it's important that you know you can deal with this person, come rain, come sun, whether they're clothed or naked or hungry or overfull, just pretty much somebody you can be with no matter what the situation is. And then you won't be having all the wahala, if I can use that phrase, that some people are experiencing now.
So, Chukuma, how did you keep it sizzling?
As the elder in this conversation. Elder.
Well, I'll start with my definition of marriage. I have a personal definition of marriage. I think he has helped me.
Okay.
I define marriage as a union of two people going to different locations who have agreed to go to the same location or same direction. And in agreeing, you must have some things you have to drop, you have to let go, you have to change, you have to, some of your opinions you have to change, so that the both of you, because in the time you had locations you were going differently, you had your plans out and you had everything streamlined, you wanted to achieve in those locations. But now you want to come together, make your locations to be one, then you want to go the same one. You must have some of the things that you had wanted to achieve in these areas that you have to let go to be able to go in the same location that you have agreed with your partner. And in most marriages, that doesn't really happen. I happen to have been one of those who never had long period of courtship.
Okay.
And most times people ask me, how is your marriage working and how is it like it's work? It's not marriage if nobody will come and say I've never had issues in my marriage. But the ability to learn to run in your relationship makes it best. If you are the man, always trying to be the head does not make you the head. There are times you will always be the neck to be able to control the head. When you understand your spouse, it helps you so much. I happen to have understood my spouse so much, and you see us, people think we're relations. People think we're brother and sister, and there's something like one of our workers said one time, and I was laughing. She said, "Well, I know there's nothing we tell you, don't tell madam. Please, this one, don't tell madam." I started laughing too. They got to the point that they know that everything Oga knows, madam knows. So it has helped us. And one of the times also, I did mention to my wife and I said, when we saw someone that was being blackmailed, and said that the strength of a blackmailer in any relationship is the information that she has.
Yes.
And I said, okay, if you're being blackmailed and you're about to do something silly, divulge that information. And we agree that if there's anybody blackmailing any of us, come clean. Let's deal with an enemy outside, then we'll come back home and resolve ourselves. So that's an understanding. If you're going to get into a relationship, or if you're in any relationship, know your spouse.
Exactly.
We understand ourselves. There are times she'll be in the house and she's playing all her phones. And I know it's her phone time. She knows my TV time. And nobody wants to force the other to do the other thing. And learn to let go. It's not a war, it's not a competition. Several people in relationships think it has to be, I'm the Lord over this house, so it has to be by what I say. No, there are things you need to let go. And to the other opposite partner, you also learn to, like the Bible also says, you have to be submissive. Now, that you're submissive to your husband hasn't made you anything less. People there are some people, several people who have a lot of backlogs, loads, and they bring it in their relationship. That means they've not let go some of those directions they wanted to, some of those things they wanted to achieve in their direction to come and join this person. So when you want to join someone, learn to put out several things, several loads, and
or at least talk about it.
Yes,
right?
Talk about it. Yeah, most times you see that the guy might say, "I don't want to." The lady is not listening, or the guy is not listening, and they choose to talk to her. And I can't remember talking about marriage outside.
No, I mean before. Talk about it with your partner before you even get committed.
I tell you
with
something.
That person.
I tell you something.
Okay, you go first.
A lot of things like that happened.
Right.
Mine was church. We were. My wife Catholic, I wasn't Catholic, and we talked about it.
Hello.
Yes,
That's our story, really.
Sorry, we talked about it, and we agreed that we're going to marry, and we got married, and I didn't feel the Catholic thing, and I told her I wasn't going to go.
Okay.
And she was, as in she was remorse, she deceived me, this. I just pleaded with her, I told her, please go. Okay.
But you had said you were going to go before.
Chico, I like, now I don't make you go because of church. Today, maybe she follow me go church.
Okay, Chukuma, you talked about before you actually get married and the things you need to do, or the things you need to observe before you actually take that plunge. But there are some people who have taken that plunge and realize, I don't think I'm very compatible with this guy. Is there something that we can do to endear our spouse to us? There's some things that should work. There should be some.
Yes. Most times, you first of all want to know what the problem is. I always say when you identify what a problem is, the solution is easier.
Okay, very true.
Now, what are those things? Some might be because some guys don't want to bring out money. And you hear that this guy is popping champagne somewhere else, and he's doing so many other things.
Okay.
And the woman has tried. She wouldn't kill herself, and brother is not changing. And some take it to church, and brother says, why are you taking a matter outside? Before you know it, brother raises hand, sister says it's not here, and we are not compatible.
Yeah.
When such things happen, I always advise the people involved, I'll say, for as long as you could endure. I'm not an advocate for divorce, but I always say when it becomes a life-threatening issue, seek refuge.
Because you're better separated than dead.
Seek refuge. So, but there are lots of things you put into consideration. As a man, why would you have someone's child in your house and you are abandoning her to suffer when you have the wherewithal? And as a woman, why would you be the one making all of the money? And because your husband is not making money, he turns to your houseboy. So those are things every partner needs to...
Well, you've mentioned money a few times. But for some of us, emotional beings as we are as women, it could just be, appreciation and show of affection.
True that.
You know,
So
some men.
some people are stingy.
Some men are very stingy with
that.
appreciating partners.
You know, sometimes just that, hand across my shoulder, say, well done,
But again, it's both ways.
When you credit me, I'll appreciate you.
Yes. No, not even just that. The truth is, telling Chukuma you look good is a big deal for some men. And even if it's not a big deal for them, it adds to their pep. So women should also learn to appreciate men. But it's stronger on the side of women because, like you said, we are very emotional people.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing is, brother, if you don't tell her, somebody will outside. Trust me. Somebody will tell her she looks good, she looks amazing. So if you don't say it at home, she's going to start thinking, does he not love me anymore?
Yes.
How come he didn't notice?
Yes.
And someone else is noticing? Somebody else will. So it goes along with these little things that we take for granted. And I agree it's both ways. A man can do with all the, you look good, commendation, well done, oh, you did this, thank you. Men love respect.
They do. I was going to
The
come.
food they eat.
Men love respect.
Just respect a man. In most cases, that's a real man. We do know that there are some, no disrespect men, that nothing helps.
I did mention sometime when I was speaking with some people, and I said men dominate. And in a matter where a man is talking and the wife is also talking back, a man becomes aggressive because he sees the other person as a fellow man immediately. And his response to that other person who is challenging him now might be violent. So there was also this comedy that I watched where a lady went to Babalawo to ask him, how do I stop my husband from hitting me? And he gave her some stuff and said, if your husband is talking, drink this and don't talk, and you will see that this will control this is his charm that will make him to stop. And after a while, the lady went back to tell the man, Baba, it's working, and my husband is no longer beating me, so I didn't give you anything, my daughter. It was just ordinary drink that I gave you. It was actually your tongue that was putting you in trouble. So, so many people have their tongues put them in trouble. And there's something I always mention also. You think about a lot of people live competitive lifestyle. The company people keep. A lot of companies influence people negatively or positively. And you see people, because my friend is doing blah 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 and the wife is not talking, and you see him coming to the house without knowing the psychological behavior of his wife, coming to do copy and paste in his house, and you see puts his house in trouble. Now, whoever you mingle with may have had his template on his marriage and it works for him. So don't copy and paste. That it's working for Rita may not work for me. So copy and paste is another thing that's actually triggering a lot of troubles in homes.
And what about promises that people make before marriage and eventually they renege on it? You were lucky that you got away with, I don't want to go to Catholic church. For some people, that could be a big deal.
Yes.
I for instance, I'm a thespian. I read theater arts. And so that means I do acting, I do media, there's so much I can do. But before I got married, my husband made it very, very clear. If you're going to act, I will not deal with you in any romantic scene. Like, I can't deal. He made it really, really, clear.
Crystal.
It does not mean other men will not take it. It's just who he is.
Okay.
So it would be crazy and totally unacceptable for me now to not say, bro, Zeb Ejiro has a new movie. I can talk to him, he put me in the next thing I'm rolling in bed with someone because there's camera and it's acting. I know it's acting, there's no emotion attached, but the man already told me I can't deal with that before you got married. So why renege on that now because you have a right? It's my life. So at the end of the day, you need to also respect. If you made a promise, or if you want to go back to that, talk about it again. So people feel betrayed sometimes because of that. That's why I said when I started that, talk about things. If you are saying, I must read it, I must do a PhD, and the person you're with is not interested in you doing that or seeing you through that, it will get to a point where that irreconcilable differences will come up because you didn't deal with it from the beginning. Of course, there's always surprise along the way, but if you do the basics, then the surprises will not be such that will throw you off balance.
Now we're focusing so much on the married couples. There are still people who are still having relationships who are young.
Right.
And in that there is still conflict. And you begin to ask, why do they having this conflict? And the sister is either there, the brother is either there, and they're trying to make it work when they know it's no longer working. Brother, sister, if you know it's not working, find brother that's working and sister that's working. Don't kill yourself in it. See, life is so important that you would want, you can't, there are several people that believe that they could change a man.
Yeah.
Let me marry him, I'll change him.
Yeah.
Let me marry him. You can't change someone who has a habit. You can't change it. Once you have aligned and identified that these issues you want to go in would not happen, it will not change. Leave it and look for the one that would work for you. How many people do you have on earth that you would want to kill yourself for one man or one woman? No, it's not. I'm sure that's been my school of thought. No, that's been my school of thought.
Back to the isolation period, and we're having different phases and eased lockdowns in different areas of the country and all that. Now, some couples still have to be home. Some people are not employed at the moment or partially employed. And remember I talked about us being emotional beings and men showing affection. Now when I say show me affection, I don't mean yeah. Some men think showing affection is I'm thinking I can't cook. We're home or everybody is home, the children are home. I cooked morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you need to speak to the men and tell them that showing appreciation to your wife, showing her affection doesn't mean...
I can talk about myself.
This is a family program. It's a family show.
Okay. See.
Right, Antonike.
My wife had tried to as many times as possible to say, I want to understand you. And what they say, variety is the spice of life.
That's right.
I love to do my variety.
Okay.
Because I bring spices in the home and it makes the house bubbling at all times.
Nice.
Okay. I make it look, for as long as we've been married for years, and I try to make it, you can't understand me, I'm still the man. And I do that with a lot of things.
Did you hear that?
Yes, yes. Now I play it.
Still the man.
No, not in that regard. No, not in that regard. What I mean is, I've gotten to the point that she thinks that, okay, this is what he usually does for this period of time. Okay. And because I think she has known that, I changed my style.
Okay.
You understand? I'm one person that I love surprises because I've understood that surprises make my wife so much happy.
So you're saying you have different ways of walking away? Is that the point you're trying to...
No. What I'm saying is that I have several ways of spicing up my marriage and showing my wife affection, and she loves it. In most cases, it's not about money.
True.
Okay.
Most people think it's about what they can say or money. But money is good. But it depends on how you apply that money.
Exactly.
10 naira could make a whole lot of difference that 1 million
Very
can
true.
make. It depends on how you apply it. I'm serious. See, forget what people come up. That's what I leave social media. Forget what people post on the social media. Come back home. What you apply in your home matters more than what people post outside.
Yeah, okay.
You understand? I have a friend who told me a story. He said that he has a cousin who always come to him and say, my friend said my husband cannot talk where I do. And she was almost copying her friend to come and shut her husband down. And all of a sudden, God helped her one day. She went to her friend's house and they were both gisting. And in the gist, the friend's husband came in. The speed that the friend left her in the parlor and ran inside. She said that she was watching what drama is happening. All of a sudden, this person that said, my husband can't say that rubbish around me. Do you know how they call her Bell? Press bell. The man would just come and she was shaving. She was like, really, this is who you really are in your house, and meanwhile you're busy coaching us on how not to listen to her husband. And she took that lesson. Yes, and she took that lesson. So many people come on social media too. Listen from people who do not even have that strength in their homes. Now, 10 naira, what you apply 10 naira to could change if you understand. If what makes your wife happy is akara, that's been cake. And even if you buy her one or two, you bring out all the best smiles in her. And you left bean cake and moved somewhere and buy her maybe pizza bowl. What you would have spent to get the pizza, because you see someone, so you will bring the pizza home and want her to eat the pizza. Without minding, you might say the akara is local, but this is what makes her happy. So there is independent. You must allow the independence of opinion when it has to do with choices of people in homes. So most people want to mandate people to do things because they say this is what I like, and in trying to enforce what they like on the partner, it changes a lot.
There was a time when I think that before we got married, we were still dating. I was still in school. My husband sent me a gift, and guess what it was? Wipes. Not the wet wipes, like the face, the cotton bud, those ones that come in like this long thing with the rose water. I'm like, how do you think about that? It was so, in terms of cost, not much, but I marveled at how he thought that I really needed that. It was something really, for me, it was touching.
It didn't matter whether it was 10 or 1 million.
No.
Because he touched your emotion, and you will always remember that.
True.
You will always remember that. Some people do not. But let's focus less on the brothers and also focus on the sister. You know that so many people think that it's that thing also that they used to control their men.
Oh, yes, I've heard that before.
Yes?
Yes, that women use that as a weapon. I want this, I want him to do this, so I'll hold back. If you don't, then yeah. So women do that.
So it's also important to know what the brother wants.
Exactly.
If he loves Eba, don't say you eat Eba too much.
Take fufu.
No, make rice, make ram. Can't you have rice? If
as a wife, you should balance his meal.
But it is. Did you call it his meal? No, if you're going to balance his meal, let the meal that you're balancing be his meal, not your meal. Don't give him the suggestion that because you think Okeke's house they eat this in the morning, you bring it to your husband who does not even understand what that meal is that you want to give to him. And before you need it's little things.
What if she's just, like Dike said, trying to take the responsibility of keeping you healthy and deciding you should eat less carbs, take more vegetables, men hate vegetables.
You know why I laughed? I laughed in my house. My wife will always say, why don't you try this? I say, please, Biko, use me, this is my own. And she will laugh. And at the end, you say, I do what I want.
Right.
And at the end, she might try what she wants and get everybody in the house to eat it. And then everybody will be pretending like it's so nice and it's so nice. And before you hear, I'll come and say, okay, can I try? She has found a way to convince me to take what she has wanted me to take. But many people see opinions in marriage. You're dealing with two adults. Forcing even in relationship. Don't force your opinion on people.
True that.
It's
don't force your opinion.
I agree. Well, having said all that, different ways of building relationship, there are some people, men or women, that use special packages to cement that relationship, hold it firmly in the ground.
The spiritual or the diabolical one?
Some people call it diabolical, some people say no, it's more of a spiritual thing, but it's conversations here on NTA. We'll be right back. Promised to talk about the special package. I got a few questions and I'm going to respond to the ones I can remember. Firstly, what is the special package? A special package is a box that consists of products specially made based on a client's request. A special package is totally different from regular products you walk into the store and purchase. This takes 2 weeks and sometimes more to get ready. And while ordering for the special package, be aware, be very much aware that we are going to request for your details. For example, if you're making a request for a man, like for a man's attention, a man's money, a man's love, or whatever, we are going to request for that man's name, that man's details. For example, while preparing products for the special package, we observe prayers, we perform white rituals and all of that. While doing these things, we have to call your name and call that person's name. That is why I said you cannot use a special package on multiple persons, because a product or a box or a package that has been prepared for Femi cannot be used on Lawal. So you have to be specific. You have to be very specific.
I'm introducing to you guys these 3 tiny oils. This is the attraction perfume. For these sales is 5,000 naira. So if you know you go out, you don't get attracted to guys, and you don't have money to buy any of the big attraction kits, attraction premium kit, please just get this one. It's 5,000. It's very, very cheap and it's also effective. If you don't have money to buy money kits or any of the big money products, this is the money drawing oil. Money oil, anywhere you go for money attraction, 5,000 naira. If you don't have money, please get it too. This is the favor oil. You don't have money to, but you want to get products for favor. This is it, 5,000 naira. So these products, they're all in group of 5,000 naira. If you know you don't have money to get kits or one big product, just get any of these oils.
Okay, Amashala, what if the side chick is using a special package on your husband? See, you guys have to do survival of the fittest or survival for the fittest. That one I can't say because I cannot predict if the side chick or how many side chicks are even using special packages. You should be able to know how your husband reacts if what they are using on your husband is very strong, that it doesn't even give you that. You should know, you should be able. That's why I always tell you guys, study before you jump into buying product or jump into conclusion of that. See if your husband side chick or yes, your boyfriend side chick is using a special package. Or here is your case. So
when there's a child out there that's not getting the same that your own child is getting, the difference will tell, and there will come a time in the society where that child is going to take his pound of flesh.
Where you can actually, everything from watching a program with the child, you can start up the conversation from something on the TV and say, oh,
For me, it's like, hurry up with this business. And the other one said, Auntie, it's not about me, it's about the guys. They're not ready to marry.
Yes. If she wants to ask something, no, I know my mother very well. In fact, the most interesting one is when I put up pictures on WhatsApp, Snapchat filters and all that, she will call me, remove that picture. There was a day I got tired of all that and I said,
So special packages and using it as a means to hold down a relationship. Back then, when we used to watch all those old movies, the woman would have to cross a river, walk through a forest to meet some babalawo in a small hut and say, my husband doesn't stay in one place. Baba, help me. Now, these people are online. All you have to do is scroll through and you will find the babalawos and mamalawos online and selling special packages. It's serious.
It's shocking to see that people could actually be bold. We believed before that only those with white, who are old, who are in thick forest with dirty and what do they call that, or white powder chalk on their forehead, that could sell that. Seeing a beautiful lady come out boldly to speak about such, what effrontery, what gave her right for such? And you see people, did you see that she was actually reading responses from people, meaning that there are people who are actually interested, who want to.
A lot.
Brothers are in trouble.
If there aren't people interested, she won't be there. She will not be there selling that. That's true.
But Rita, do you believe it's work?
What? Work? How? I don't know. I don't believe it. I've heard all sorts actually, beyond, this new level of special package. There are some traditional statements you hear about kayamata, what's the other word I've heard? But I don't know, I just...
Cognomy.
Whatever. I don't feel that anybody can be remotely controlled by something you rub on your body or skin or you put something in your eyes or something. And imagine saying you make it with the person's name specifically. You talked about those movies. I just remembered the one they say, oh, after you dropped it, you do ha 2 times. That's why it did not work. Like, seriously? I don't... To answer very straightforward, I do not believe in that. I don't think it even works.
To say you don't believe in it means you don't believe in the powers of the devil. I think that's okay. But I must tell you this. There's wickedness. There is the power of the occult. That's real.
Oh well. Okay.
I will also go by the word of the Bible because I'm a believer of the Bible. The Bible says something: if you don't break the edge, the serpent wouldn't bite too. He that breaks the egg, the serpent will bite. When people go some certain ways, a friend of mine did mention something sometime. He said, if you are not in obedience, you are not under the covering of grace. So people are vulnerable when they are going off the line. You get them to get these people, and it doesn't last for too long.
Right.
It doesn't last for too long. That's why you see them telling you to come back for renewal, telling you to come back for...
So you cannot build a lasting relationship.
No, it doesn't. You cannot. No. That's why you see them... the devil has a way of trying to lure you, gives you small, and you come back for a bigger one. Keep doing that, and you keep doing more sacrifice. Before you know it, you find yourself... You say that you wasted a lot, and you wouldn't have done what you wanted to achieve. You wouldn't see the joy to achieve it. So if it's about working, yes, it could work for remotely for some time, but for some time it could work, but it might not be a thought. It shouldn't be a way of life.
You know where I'm concerned?
It's not like hypnotizing someone.
I think that's
you know where my concern comes through is I talked about the wife going to the man in the across the stream for her husband, but now it's the girlfriends, the side chicks,
the sister.
They're not sisters. They're not sisters. They're not the mistresses that go through extreme means just to get this man to either pay me, send me a whole lot of money, buy me a car, set me up, put me in a flat,
Not because they love him.
Not because they love him, just because I want this from him.
So that's money ritual.
Aha.
It's something as money ritual.
So it's different from special package.
No, whether it's special package or anything, any ritual you do to make money is money ritual. Whether it's special package or
we're generally made to believe when you say ritual, the next thing is it means someone has been killed or hypnotized to the point where they are useless to themselves and using money.
But no sensible man would send she mentioned somebody giving her about how much million one time, and no sensible man would give somebody that kind of money that you would use when something is not behind it. When you begin to get something that you have had to do some rituals or some sacrifices on something to control someone, that's ritual. It mustn't be killing and not killing. Do you know what they have killed to prepare the special package?
Interesting.
And some of these, they seem to, you see some of these, in quote, testimonials written on their pages saying, this worked, and, I just got this amount of money, and you're blown away. And I worry for our men. I worry for our men that fall into these traps by girls who are just desperate to get paid, get sorted. It makes me really worry about it. 10, 15 years ago, these kind of things were not, they're not as glaring. It's not at this level.
Someone said 10, 15 years ago, they were. But then it wasn't so glaring because there was no social media. Social media has liberalized.
But it was something to be ashamed of.
Yes, that time it used to be mothers used to take their daughters. Your husband is not coming back early. Follow me, my daughter. They will cross rivers.
Again, my husband.
They will cross rivers.
It's like Nika said, they're crossing river or doing kayamata or something.
Okay, your mothers don't do that.
Their husband.
Yes.
It doesn't make it right. But now we're talking about people who just see Chukum and be like, man, that guy is loaded. Let me go and get special package. I want you to give me a car or a house or just like that. Thank you, sir. The video or jam rock?
They will. I can't play with my the firehouse. They will jam rock. Frankly speaking, it's not a lifestyle, and that also calls for several relationships that you see broken now today.
Right.
People come to you, what you use the back end to get into, you don't see it lasting forever. You use, because it may not be only money. You see a lady who might be in competition with a fellow lady over a man, and she goes to do this special package, and the man ends up choosing her against the other person, and they settle in, and one day the special package clears off the man's eye. The man begins to see who actually he didn't want to marry, being his wife, and from that day he becomes who he wanted to be. And he starts pursuing the other lady, and you see her coming to tell us stories on the social media. He is not my husband, but they won't tell us the genesis of the story. So it is important to note that even in your special package, it can only take you to a particular level. If you want to use it for marriage, it can take you to a level in marriage, and when the man's eye clears, you are off. If you use it to acquire wealth, and when the man is no longer interested in that, when he has been delivered, that wealth that you have been acquiring using the special package will start going up, because any foundation that is not strong will always collapse. So whether you are doing special package, because I overheard her one time say, when they are giving you this money, you have to do something, set yourself up. You cannot set yourself up using things you acquire through special package. You have to special package yourself in business. Understand how to do the movement of business. Because when
she obviously understands business because she's talking about investment. Don't just spend your money.
And some of these digital mamalos and babalos they have followers. They have thousands of followers, and you're like, so who is following them? I'm not following, but I go to the page to go and see you because I'm very curious. I'm actually quite curious. It just makes me wonder, so what is the special package? The real special package is knowing your partner, knowing what he wants, knowing what he needs, knowing when he's tired and really doesn't have as much energy to play with the kids tonight. He might have time to do that tomorrow. Just how to relate with his parents, how to relate with his family.
Knowing when it's football time.
Yes, that's very important.
I'm working on that.
Which league came back recently? Is it the Premier League or
all the leagues?
They're all back without the audience.
Yes.
Makes it worse for us.
Those are the different special packages I think we as women should be focusing on.
We should also understand that we are Africans.
Okay.
Don't copy the relationship of Kim Kardashian. I want to practice it.
Oh, come on. You're talking of us on TV now. That's drama.
Rita, people want to live like others. Now, you see the one trending now, brother that they caught in America, who has been trending on being a big boy until his cat on blue. His cover had blown, and now people...
Yes. Did they use any... Nobody use special package for him?
No. Probably you may have been you may not have...
Or maybe he is using special package.
So, but what my husband is that you see people who want to be him, and in trying to be him, they get involved in a lot of things. And you see ladies who want to fly to Europe, and the next time they're in Canada, and the other time on another person's money, and because of that they are using something. You understand? So when you weigh all these things, you understand that whatever you are building through whatever special means will never last. It is very important to, like Nika has said, if you're getting into a relationship, if the guy has nothing and you have understanding with him, build. Why I always talk about myself is that we had nothing when we got married. We were married when we were young, and we built ourselves together. There were rough days. When I say my rough days, people don't believe it. And on that rough day, I remember when I lost my job, and it was a time we were doing bread on the street.
Okay.
My wife would want to tell me, you have been a manager, so please don't come out. Let me be the one. I'll carry the baby and be in the car. She'll buy newspaper for me, and she'll be the one hustling the bread. And as soon as we got off that thing, the first thing I did was to buy her a car. Wow. Because I just told her, you did this, and this is your reward for it. We understood each other. It doesn't mean that we have not raised our voices, we have not shouted at each other. No, but when you do that, you come back to the house. Building yourself would help you than going for special package. A lot of people will also say, what if you finish building the person and the person leaves you and goes to marry another person?
I was getting to that.
Maybe a special package could drive your love away. But if you're consistent with, it could break. It could, most times, you see the guy getting to a level and he feels like, you're not my type again. You're not my type again. Try as much as possible to warm yourself up, because when your guy is upgrading, upgrade yourself.
Exactly.
Most times people say when your guy is upgrading, upgrade yourself. Because some people do not understand that as money is coming, it comes with influence, both negative and positive. So learn to know how to upgrade yourself. But you see some people trying to, the first guy type, you see them trying to upgrade and they now overshoot and go off the line. I've seen a couple that had issue because the lady felt like I'm bigger than my man and I'm taking a walk. So it's no longer the brothers that take a walk. The lady work hard.
It can be both ways. It's very true. Yeah, it can be both ways.
It's also quite rare.
Yeah, if Yeah, that's true. That's that equity thing. We're not trying to catch up though. There are things you don't want to catch up with. But the truth is, even if your woman is upgrading, you should too as well.
Of course.
We used to joke about one of my lecturers, actually more like gossip about him. He's going to be hearing this on TV. He was married to a medical doctor.
Okay.
And we were told when we got into school, he was my media lecturer, Dr. Marcelo Kahuda. He did his master's and immediately did his PhD, and we're like, he didn't want to be called Doctor, Mr. and Doctor. So he quickly decided to put Doctor to his name. But that's it's like a joke, but then it kind of, thinking about it the second time, is about you looking at, if I am this way and I'm with this woman, will I feel a certain way? What do I have to do to also upgrade myself? And, we can be at the same level. It's not just the men or the woman who needs to upgrade. You're married to somebody, he's getting into politics, maybe you had school cert, and he's getting into politics, he's growing gradually from councillor to something, he's thinking of running for governorship, and you're just still there. He's going to look for a first lady.
Of course, because we don't want to have embarrassment. Because the office comes.
And it's two ways. She can decide to get into politics and grow to a standard where, how will I say this is?
Bros becomes house husband. Because, it's important that you understand your partner. Because if you fail to understand your partner, it will never work. Where there's room for improvement, improve. Where there's room for adjustment, adjust. So that both of you can understand that there's no template for marriage. What works for A might not work for B, but find what works for you. Now, during this COVID, a lot of crises happen in homes.
So many.
And when people bring it up, I was like, what? Now, if you're used to going to work in the morning and all of a sudden COVID has caught up with you, you have to find a way to survive.
Yes.
Right.
Now, one of the ways you could survive is wake up in the morning, do exercise, and you can do your exercise till you're back home tired. You understand? Of course.
You could do exercise, you could help with chores.
You could help with chores.
Exactly.
You could help with chores.
Chores is better.
I always said this, that I'm very lazy domestically. So,
really?
Yes, I'm very domestic lazy. If you can't just say it.
Ironing.
No.
Tuning up the car, engine oil, water.
It was the first that I just asked myself, when was the last time you ironed?
Wow.
But fortunately for us, we have a domestic staff who does all this. I don't put all the labor to my wife. I'm one of those who, I'm sure she'll be watching, I'm one of those who believe in placing value on my wife.
Yeah.
I had a friend one time who said, a female friend who said, Chooks, you know one thing I like about you? There are the values you've placed on your wife that nobody can break. And that's why I became your friend.
Okay.
No, she said, I told her one time, I said, I can't give somebody a gift I have not given my wife. It's a policy.
Interesting.
No matter how your special package, I can't buy a phone to someone that my wife has not used.
Wow,
you have to have some values you place on your spouse.
Yes,
very true.
You have to, now you're a man, you have your family, you have your kids, and things are lacking in the home, and you're busy doing philanthropy outside, becoming big boy outside, poor boy at home.
Chairman,
your children are
And I like what he said about having domestic staff do some of these things. There's a couple I look up to. It's not like I've gone to tell them, we've gone to tell them, oh, come and be our mentor. The people that mentor us in marriage, they don't even know that they mentor us. We just admire them from afar, and we love the way they are, and we try to do the things we see them do. That would be Dr. Otive Egbuzo and the wife, Dr. Ejiri Egbuzo. He said something at a seminar that I attended. He said, I don't know why my wife, who is ABC, should be washing clothes and ironing with valuable time that can go into something that will bring us millions, good money. Yeah, because seeing her scrub is not what will satisfy me. See the clothes clean, right? Pay somebody to get it done. That time, with the kind of intellectual knowledge you have, put it into better use. And it will be better for the family. Instead of you going, my wife must, okay, some people when it comes to cooking is a different ball game. You can do it together,
Yes,
but cleaning and all that, if you can afford to get a domestic help that is age appropriate to do it, fine. So that time can be better utilized. It's more profitable for you, whether it's for packaging or for or for your actual job that will make you go better, or even for studies or anything.
My boss actually taught me this when I got my job early in life, and one of the days he called me. He's in the US now. We actually spoke. Yes, I think recently we spoke, and he called me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm washing." He calls me by my surname. He said, "Okay, isn't it funny that the time you should be using to read, you're using to wash?" He said, "Don't you have laundry?" I said, "I can't afford it." He said, "Plan."
Plan to have a
He
laundry
said,
man.
"Plan. You will do it. Use that time for something useful." And to be honest with you, I started.
Okay.
For a long time, I've never washed. And I started saving for that. Recently, I taught a colleague of mine. He came and was saying some certain things about wanting to sell his car for his rent and all blah, blah, blah. I sat him down and asked him some very personal questions, and I told him that it's only a man who has no job that can come and sell his car for his rent. Now, if you have your job, let's know what you earn. And we started. And by the time we were able to apportion his salary to his core responsibilities, he still had over 80K, 90K to play around with.
Wow.
And he was looking at me. I said, "You guys look at me like I enjoy myself all the time. I have it planned out."
Yeah.
They will tell you that the money comes into the house. And there are times I could stay as a person, I don't have more than 20K. But you cannot get to the house and there's no food in the house. You cannot hear that my child is sent out from school. There are places you drop that money when it's needed,
plug it
out, and you give it them. If you can't do business, have a savings plan. You could have it with your
Investment or
you could have it with your cooperative in the office. You could also have it with your bank and give them a direct debit.
We just entered his stuff.
Yeah, honestly, if you enter
That's Sugarman's territory.
without us. Let's talk about the third party in a relationship that needs to be improved on, that needs strengthening. At which point do you call in a counselor? You mentioned church, having most of us run to our pastors because I think we feel they're spiritual leaders and supposedly impartial when it comes to these issues. So women tend to do that a lot. So, but what are your thoughts about getting in that third party, be it the mother-in-law on either side or a spiritual leader? When should that happen?
First, you have to understand the place and the position of your mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Because you might open up to them and it becomes a destruction.
Exactly.
You also need to understand your pastor's wife, your pastor. You have to go to your pastor's wife or your pastor. Because if you don't understand them, you might use the right tool for the wrong person. You might go to the man instead of the woman. You might go to the woman instead of the man. The reverse becomes the case. Now, as a person, you have to look within and monitor the person you want to bring into your place.
Exactly.
And I have one man of God, I always say that before you ask someone to sew your clothes, first of all, what the person is wearing. You don't go to a person whose home is not in order because the person is an elder in the church, because the person is called a pastor, and you ask the person to come and advise you. The person begins to use emotional sense and corner you somewhere. So you need to understand the person you want to go to. Does the person have the quality to give you what you want? In most cases, you could look for a book and read. Most times, some of the answers you seek in present are in books. I have never gone to a marriage counseling school, but I've read several books on marriages that I've applied in my home and it worked.
Interesting.
How long have you been married?
Many years.
You don't tell us.
Come on.
I'll tell you.
Yes. You're not going to tell on TV.
I'll tell you on camera.
I'll ask your wife. No problem. There's my one thing I got to learn about, third party in relationship. I heard the story of a lady that it hit home. She was widowed at this point when she talked about this. Now, you have issues in your home and you go to your family and say, my wife did this, my husband did that. And then you settle the issue later. You won't go back and tell them, oh, we're good now, it was actually a misunderstanding, we are now fine. Now, what that does is, don't forget, these people are your family, they're emotionally connected to you.
Yes.
When the next time they see your spouse, that's in the back of their mind. You did this to my brother, you did this to my son, you did this to my daughter. They will not forget. And it actually cuts beyond marriage to relationship generally. If I have a friend and he or she did something that I'm not happy about, I will not tell it to a mutual friend or my personal friend, because that one is more connected to me. I will automatically probably feel a certain way towards that person. And I may look at the issue differently later and decide it's not really a big deal. But this person will not get it that way. And it happens in marriage as well. So when you go telltale, Nike said, or Chukuma did this, can you imagine he did? When you now realize, oh, it's not a big deal now, you won't go back and undo what you have done. That's why sometimes what I've learned is pause. Just pause. And sometimes you would find out it's just a storm in a teacup. And it will blow away. Sometimes it's not even worth the wahala.
If you could get a counselor who is a neutral person, who has no bias or relationship with anyone.
Exactly, a neutral.
A professional counselor, because sometimes pouring out heals.
Right.
When you pour out, you get healed. Now, if you get a counselor who might want to listen to you and give an opinion that is professional, it could be better than going to relationship. And like I always tell people, I say that never ever equip your worst enemy when he or she is your best friend. I don't know if you got that. That you're my best friend today, I could give you information that will arm you against me when you turn my worst enemy. Because friends might not be friends forever. When they turn worst enemies, they always use what they got from the other person when they were friends against the other person.
Those are bad friends.
Yes. No. Several people are like that. So haven't you heard about a lady who confided in a friend about abortion and everything, and when they turned as what enemies, the lady was about to get married, and she was one that was broadcasting it. Is it not this one? I know I said she was used to women. So never equip your worst enemy when he or she is your best friend. Learn the things you share with people. Whether about your husband, about your girlfriend, about your whatever it is, if you're going to look for a counselor, get a counselor. Talk to someone that is, if you think the person's life influences you positively, make it professional. Do not allow the person have any impact negative against your spouse or your relationship. Yes.
Well, we've been talking about how to build relationships here in the Conversations Room. Thank you, Chukuma. Thank you, Rita. Special packages are not the way. Learn to understand your spouse, your partner, what they like, what they don't like, and hopefully we can have better relationships all over the world and our nation. This is Nike on behalf of everyone in the house. See you another time and goodbye.